India's election has a new flashpoint: wealth redistribution. Looks like everyone is talking about it: the Prime Minister, opposition leaders and political commentators. It all started with Prime Minister Modi's comments last weekend. He said the Congress party would snatch away people's land and gold if elected, sort of like a Robin Hood scheme. Take from the rich and give to the poor. So obviously, there's a lot of confusion and fear, and the Congress party has not helped its case. One of their leaders, Sam Pitroda, waded into the controversy. He suggested that inheritance tax could be a good way to distribute wealth. Listen to this.
Let me tell you, in America, there is an inheritance tax. So if, let's say, one has $100 million worth of wealth, and when he dies, he can only transfer probably 45% to his children. 55% is grabbed by government. Now, that's an interesting law.
Interesting indeed. It hasn't helped them. What exactly is this inheritance tax? It is not levied across the US. Only 6 American states have this particular tax. Say your relative dies and you inherit their assets. You must pay a tax on it. The rate may vary from state to state. It's just 1% in some states, but it can go up to 20% in others. Even India had a version of this tax. It was called the estate duty. But in 1985, the government of India abolished it. The idea was to simplify taxes. Now, the Congress party says it is not looking to reintroduce this tax. Even Sam Pitroda has walked back on his statement. But the damage has been done. The BJP has latched onto these remarks, and the Prime Minister is leading the charge.
अब कांग्रेस का कहना है कि वो इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स लगाएगी, माता पिता से मिलने वाली विरासत पर भी टैक्स लगाएगी। कांग्रेस का मंत्र है कांग्रेस की लूट, जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी।
Forget inheritance tax. Let's focus on wealth redistribution, specifically on 4 questions. Why is it done? Have other countries done it? Does it actually help? And what is the Congress party's plan? Now, the why is pretty simple. Wealth is redistributed to address inequalities. India is among the most unequal countries in the world. The top 1% of the population in India holds 40% of the wealth, 40. 1% holds 40% of the wealth. So the goal is to bridge that gap, to spread the wealth more equitably. Which brings us to the next question. How have countries actually done this? Well, some have taken the extreme route, like the Soviet Union. After the revolution of 1917, rich people became enemy number 1 in Soviet Russia. They lost their homes, land, and money. Some of them also lost their lives. The Soviets took over most private land and enterprises, and China tried something similar. After the revolution, the Communist Party of China redistributed land. Around 40 million hectares were taken away, and this land, 40 million hectares, was given to over 300 million people in China. In fact, even India has tried this out. After independence, landlords dominated rural India. They owned most of the land. The people who cultivated this land had no rights. So the government introduced land reforms. Limits were placed on how much land a person or family could own, and the excess was redistributed. But those were different times. The society and the economy had a colonial legacy. Today, redistribution happens very differently. It happens mainly via taxes. In the US, for instance, there is a chorus to tax the super rich. That's actually a form of redistribution. Take more money from the rich, give it indirectly to people who need it, maybe through subsidies or loan waivers. And here in India, we have a system of progressive taxes. More income equals more taxes. Again, this is redistribution, but on a small scale. Countries in the Nordic have perfected this. They have among the highest tax rates in the world. They also have the least inequality, the Nordic countries. Which brings us to the third question. Does it actually work? Well, economists are divided. Some say billionaires should pay more. India had just 1 billionaire in 1991. It had more than 162 billionaires in 2022. So the argument is the super rich should pay more taxes. But others disagree. They say more taxes discourage growth. The super rich may ask, what's the point of investing money? If you make more profits, you will pay more tax, meaning there is no incentive to invest. The question is, which side is right? Honestly, it's hard to say. A balance between the two would be ideal, and that's our final question. What is the Congress party's plan really? There is not much clarity yet. Party leader Rahul Gandhi outlined this idea first. He said the Congress party will do a nationwide financial survey. For what? What will that survey find? How much wealth each family or group has. And based on this, assets will be distributed. Now you can see why this is confusing. It may not mean snatching away someone's gold or land, but it does raise questions. Where will this wealth come from? Is it a reference to government subsidies, or unused government land, or public resources, or income tax? Only a thorough clarification can settle this controversy.